guys, Troy here with Cape Ann Conversations, and today we've got a local legend. We've got Annette Dion, our local but worldwide and renowned psychic, with us today.
hmm
Say hello.
Hello, I really like that title. All those descriptive words. Awesome.
And I tend to always try to look back, take a look at how you got started in this. But today you are literally world known because you run a psychic channel on YouTube.
hmm
You
Yeah.
you do it locally. You're part of a shop one day a week in Salem. But let's take that step back and tell us, how does one get into this world? It seems like it's more of a calling thing than it is like a choice thing.
You must be psychic. How did you know that? It absolutely is. I feel like when we're born, we have a certain kind of an energy about what we'll sort of lean into. Like if you're more of a mathematical brain, you'll lean towards mathematics and engineering, that kind of thing. I always, from a young age, was intrigued by religion, um, anything to do with like uh, saints and Mother Mary and all that, having been brought up Catholic. And I always felt like I knew more about things than the average person did. So at a certain point, after feeling like, I don't mean this to sound offensive, but I thought people were dumb, were just acting dumb, because I tended to just kind of see a situation or see a person and there was a whole story attached. I just kind of knew things about them that as I grew older, I realized there's really no logical way that I should know these things. So when I became a teenager, I started to just really question what's going on here. And I really felt a sort of an inner voice say, "You have a psychic gift." And I distinctively remember having the message, you can use it if you want, and you could help a lot of people, but you don't have to use it. And at that point, I really made a choice. I actually remember where I was standing in that moment. My parents' house in the attic, just thinking. Um, and I think that people that are intuitive and perceptive do a lot of self reflecting and thinking. And I thought about me and my character and what I like to do, and I like to help people. So I thought, well, neat. I could combine my interest in spiritual things and the tarot and crystals and all that and turn it into something. So I started to read cards with, I had a really good friend back then, and we hung out on the weekends and we would just pull out cards because that's kind of how we connected. Was I found out she enjoyed tarot cards and I was like, oh, let's read cards together. So I started to read with her, and then we realized that we both were pretty good at it. Well, my friend went on to work for UPS. I moved to Nashville. And when I moved to Nashville from Gloucester, where I grew up, because I'm a singer songwriter and I wanted to explore that whole music thing in the 90s, I brought my cards with me and I started to read for people. I didn't know anybody there, and I met people and I befriended them by reading their cards. And they would call me afterwards many times and say, you should charge for this because this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And at first I thought, well, that's crazy because it feels like I'm making up what I'm seeing in the cards, but it ends up being accurate. Like when you first start reading, it feels like I'm just imagining this, but it ended up being really accurate. From there, in 1992, 92, 93, there was a little witch store that opened up on 2nd Avenue in Nashville, off of Broadway, which is where all the action is, especially nowadays. There was a little witchy store there, and a friend of mine worked there, and uh, they needed someone to fill in. And at that time, I don't know if you've been to Nashville.
I haven't.
Oh, okay. At that time, it was like kind of bohemian, really artist like, and it was a really cool. Nashville was really pretty hip. Could compare it to like the West Coast, like Oregon, that kind of vibe, kind of hippie. And so I took the opportunity to work like one day on the weekend. And at that time, they had everything was just kind of busting loose in Nashville because it was a time when Garth Brooks kind of rose to fame and Reba was huge and Patti Loveless and all these great pop artists. It's when country went really pop.
Yeah.
So the Wild Horse Saloon got built, the Hard Rock Cafe, Adelphia Stadium. I don't know what they call it now, but there's a big football stadium, and it just went gangbusters. So I told the store owner, the store name was The Goddess and the Moon. She didn't want to work on the weekends, and I was like, if you want me to watch the store on the weekends, I certainly can. And I did readings on the weekends and just locked the door when people came in and they wanted a reading. It's like maybe $20 a reading, and that's how I got my start.
Yep.
So I've been in this business for more than 30 years. I just never stopped. I did other things too. I was a piano teacher for many years until people lost interest in taking piano lessons.
Yeah.
So that's primarily what I did. And when I was in Nashville, I also was introduced to the school of thought that I felt more aligned with than anything else, and it's called the science of mind, not to be confused with Scientology. The science of mind is a philosophy and a school of thought that was developed by Ernest Holmes back in the early 1900s, teaching us that what we think influences our reality. So I take that teaching into everything that I do, into a reading. It's really helpful in a reading because if something comes up that looks unfavorable, I always tell the person it's up to you whether you want to change this or with inevitable things like, deaths, for instance, how to navigate through it in a real positive way. So
Yeah.
that's my long way of telling you my story in a nutshell, sort of.
So what? So and now kind of pivot that to today. What's going on today? So you work in a shop in Salem. What's the name of the shop?
Artemisia Botanicals.
And that's Main Street, Salem.
It's no, it's actually on Hawthorne Boulevard. It's right if you're at the Hawthorne Hotel
Yep.
going down Essex Street, going into town.
Yep.
The Commons is on the right and the Hawthorne's on the right.
Yep.
If you look to the left, there's a store. It looks like a house. It's like green, and it's Artemisia Botanicals, and they sell herbs and teas, like tons and tons of whatever you need, herbs and spices and teas,
And
and
you're
I
really
do
there
readings.
just once a week.
One day a week, but since we're recording this interview in October, so in October I'll be there more,
Yep.
like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah, Salem really ratchets up in
It's
October.
it starts in September. It's crazy.
But the other way that the majority of the people get in contact with you is actually through your YouTube channel,
Yep.
through calling you directly,
Mhm.
um, through groups, parties, or like you can even visit people directly. There's a
Yeah.
lot of different ways that people can engage with you and
Yeah.
your services.
Yeah. They can reach me through email, through my website, psychicannetdion.com. You can book a session right there. All my offerings are on my website there. There's a QR code. Screenshot.
Right?
Yeah. And on YouTube, believe it or not, I started a YouTube channel to do readings on the news cycle about 7 years ago because America's going crazy. And
Yes.
to put it lightly, we don't have to get into all that because it's too dramatic. But I recognize that I feel that I have a calling to really help people to navigate through difficult times. And it's become very clear to me based on how devoted I am to my YouTube channel that I can't not do this, right? So I literally every morning I record a little segment called Off the Ledge just to bring people into like a spiritual awareness of how we can be empowered through these challenging times of great transformation. There's a great huge shift happening on the planet now. It is for the good. And I get people to think about how we can change our framing of things. and I read from Ernest Holmes, and it's a spiritual, inspirational little nugget from a book that has a daily
Yep.
reading. And I also pull cards to just guide people through. And 3 nights a week, I do a live show, and I call it the Psychic News Network. And so I have a lot of my following there. It's a little tricky on YouTube, in terms of boosting the algorithm and all that. It's been very challenging, but
Yep.
I just keep plugging away, keep working through it. And what inspires me the most is how much I know I'm helping people because they tell me.
Right. Yeah, you're connecting with people at a totally different level. I think the
Yeah.
I think the term psychic gets used also loosely because there's a lot of stuff that you do like and I want to be sure to call that out because if people are sort of looking for a different opinion on the world, it's not only like the psychic aspect of this. You put on your website even things like life coaching, like
Yeah.
medium work. We do the tarot card readings, meditations. There's more to it, and you're starting to really hit on some of this too. Is like there's a different way to sort of think about life
Yeah.
and there's aspects of that connection that you make with people that are beyond you know the hocus pocus of what people are trying to portray into a psychic in some cases
Right.
where
That's true.
it's the life coaching and direction in healing that I think is also going to resonate with people at a different level because I'm with you. Everybody's going a little
Yeah.
bit crazy out there,
Yeah.
and there's probably a community that just wants to like try to center in their own thoughts.
I think so. I think that what I'm doing can be hugely like sought after
Yeah,
because I'm like the people that stick with me, especially on my YouTube channel. They never leave.
yeah,
It's like they're getting to the point where they're like, I don't know what I'd do without you to get through these times. Keeping them sane in an insane world. A lot of people say that. My whole sort of purpose is not just to read cards. I call myself a medium because after several years of doing this work, I really recognized that I was getting information from loved ones on the other side. I didn't start out calling myself a medium. I've always had a really strong interest in meditation. I actually have a guru that I met in Nashville. They call him Sad Guru now, SADH Guru. A lot of people know him. He became world famous. The funny story about that is when I met him, he was going, "Don't do readings, don't do readings." I'm like, "What do you mean? It's what I do." He just didn't want me to like be predicting people's fate, like the conventional psychic idea, like, oh, there's something terrible that's going to happen, just kind of leave them with that.
yeah,
So a psychic, I'm sure in India, there's a certain connotation like a scammer or a gypsy like that. And I have a past lifetime where I did that. But anyway, so what I said to Sadhguru at the time, we called him by his first name, which was Jaggi at that time. And he said, read my future, just joking with me. And I said, you are going to be very famous. And I like saw him on the cover of Time magazine, but this is the early, no, this was the late 90s. So pre-internet really, but it was like Time magazine was my sort of frame of reference for being world famous. So I learned meditation. I learned yoga practice called pranayama from him. I do that practice daily. I don't know how people are getting through these times that we're in without some kind of spiritual practice. I think it's tragic that people have lost their spiritual sort of connection because of the disillusionment of religious dogma. And so, based on that, I've played piano for churches for like about 14 years. And so, I know how to put together a church service. So, I invented Church of Spirituality. And that's also on my YouTube channel at Psychic Annette Dion. So you go to my YouTube channel and you're like, what is it? People are confused. It's like, wait, you're a psychic, right? How can you have a church? People need a spiritual base.
right.
And what happened was it's like throwing out the baby with the bathwater, right? Oh, I hate religious dogma. I agree. I wrote a 40-day program for releasing religious guilt that's available on my channel. for members that join for a nominal fee per month. But we can't not have a spiritual place to go. And I go into that space to do a reading. Not every psychic does. Not every psychic has that. And that's whatever, fine for them. But I feel like there's got to be a sense of sharing love and serving and service.
Yeah.
Like we're all here to serve.
It's also a community. You created
Yeah.
that's what you're really doing is you're creating a community.
Yeah, I have an online community.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, I know that if I didn't show up, they'd be freaking out, right?
Yeah.
Not to
There'd
be
a
all
wellness
codependent.
check on you.
Right.
Somebody,
Yeah.
somebody drive up to Gloucester.
No, it's true. We've talked about that before. Like like people drop out and it's like, where's so and so? And we don't know each other. They see my face, but they just know each other from the chat.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to do? You want to break down the barriers of tarot card reading a little bit?
Yeah, so
Let's do it.
the number one question or thing that I hear from people that they say, shuffle the cards, I'll do a little reading.
I have to get my energy into this, right?
Yes, that's what that does. And I also don't need people to be shuffling the cards because I just read the energy. But so the number one thing that I hear from people that aren't real familiar with this is I'm afraid of what you might say. I'm afraid to get my cards read because I'm afraid of what you might say.
Yeah.
Which is why I say I'm not the traditional psychic, that whole stereotype psychic that will have you coming back because I see that there's a curse on you. I think I did that in a past lifetime. I'm paying my dues. So if I see something, I will coach you through it. I have an incredible skill of coaching people.
Yeah.
I've been through lots of workshops, and so if I see something that looks scary, I will help you to navigate through it. If it doesn't happen as much as much as I would like for it to happen in a reading, in terms of the reading's just 50 minutes. So if I feel like there's more to tell you, which is why I got into spiritual life coaching, then I want to be able to work with you to get you to the place that you want to be.
Yeah.
Most people have lots of trauma. Most people have blocks, right? A lot of emotional blocks. But
You're a therapist too, basically.
I'm a spiritual counselor. Yeah. And so I hated when I first started reading cards for people to walk away with, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, that's going to be challenging, and then to not have offered a solution, because that information was coming through too.
Yeah.
So I do spiritual life coaching. It's in packages of 4 sessions. That's on my website. Choose 3 cards and put them face down. So what I'm doing here is I'm just looking at the cards. I do teach tarot too. I have a course going on my website right now that's included in memberships. 3. Do you feel like you want to pull that one to that one?
No, I felt like that one was hiding that one.
Oh, okay. We might peek at that one. So this is just a 3-card spread. I use the Celtic Cross spread, and what that is a certain arrangement of the cards. It's like the most common. But I like to do just 3-card spreads too. I keep it as uncomplicated as possible. I don't read the cards upside down. I just read them right side up. This card keeps coming up today. What's going? You guys are going really fast here. This is there's a lot of energy in the studio too. There's a lot of revved up energy. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew and I are locked in. Like, we're good. We've become really good friends through this podcast, doing this with the chamber, and both, running businesses and still being sort of early on in our business career. And so we tend to, when we do these recordings, we tend to meet sort of before or after and talk shop like two just co-entrepreneurs together, just fighting the good fight out there.
Yeah, it's not like you said you're a Sagittarius like I am.
Yeah.
What's Andrew?
Andrew, what are you?
What sign are you? I forgot. Is he there?
He's there. He'll tell us.
When's your birthday?
Well,
What month and day?
September 27th.
You're a Libra. Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. That's an air sign. It's good. You're good.
Good one?
Yes. Checks out. Really good at working with people. So it's you're fire, he's air, right? And here you are in this studio. You know, it goes really fast, right? If there's
yeah,
more air, the higher the fire burns. The chariot indicates, well, and you shared a little bit about your businesses and what you're doing. It's full steam ahead.
yeah,
And this is a high energy time. There are times in life, and this is called the Witch's Tarot. This isn't the traditional tarot. Um, but the cards are all named kind of the same. Uh, so what this is about is full steam ahead. Now I read the card literally a little bit. The rest is my psychic guidance. There are guides around you, and they give me information. And when you read a tarot card, there are certain things that will jump out. Like here, this doesn't feel like we're running really fast and we're all over the place. This is like we're running really fast because we're in this race and we have to keep the pace in order to win kind of energy.
hmm
So this is you and your business, and this is you having like Sagittarius is the archer. Sagittarians are really good at setting a goal and reaching the target. It's the archer. The only the only risk with Sagittarian energy is that we're fire and we can shoot the arrow and it can go all over the place like a firework, or we can shoot the arrow and be like a laser. So because we're high energy with that fire, we're better if we learned how to direct it in a very focused way. Because Sagittarians are also very social beings, like to travel, like to be on the move. So that's actually working really in your favor right now. You are able to direct it in a really focused way. So good on you. Four of Wands, you have the support of family and friends around you. You can't lose, dude. It's really awesome. You're on a really good stretch right now. Not that you're gonna head into a bad stretch. There are times in our life where you have to kind of strike while the iron's hot. The iron's hot. You're striking now. You're getting where you need to be, where your goal is.
I'd say, you know, if there's feedback to that,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I would say, that energy feels right. I mean, I bought Nori's cleaners,
Yeah.
the business, probably 14 weeks ago at this point, and we're hyper focused on that. I mean, we're working long days, long hours, but we are hyper focused on learning that business and getting that business to like what its potential is to serve this community
Mhm.
and working in it. We're talking 90-hour weeks for 3.5 months straight since I've
Right.
taken it over. And that doesn't come lightly without, like you're saying there, that's the support of the family. You don't get to work 90
Right.
hours for that long in a
Right.
business if the other team members aren't picking up some of the slack,
Mhm.
supportively picking up some of the slack, and you sort of lose your mind a little bit
Yeah.
working like that.
You need them to be like, okay, we understand.
Yeah,
And you do have that, and this also is indicative of the community support.
yeah.
I think that you probably know a lot of people in the community. Did you grow up here?
I didn't grow up here, but I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else combined.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So it's like I live here now.
So the more people that you talk to, the more they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll drop my stuff by." Yeah.
100%. The community actually is what's been so awesome about this acquisition is because
Right.
it had such great customers and such great employees that it's been very easy to take over. And then
Right.
all of the previous owner that I bought it from, he didn't live here. And
Oh,
so
okay.
he wasn't a part of the community. So now people see like, "Oh, Troy from this community bought it. Like this is great. Like let's try to support the community."
Yeah, they're welcoming you in.
I've sort of put that call to action out to people to like tell everyone like,
Yeah.
there's new ownership
And
type
that's
stuff.
my idea of the punch card.
Yes, exactly.
Have us wash 5 shirts, get one done free. We'll see. But I know it's a psychic compression. Pick 2 more cards.
Up or down?
Down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is about the community
Should
support.
and we'll go with this one that you wanted.
Yeah. The more you are, I don't want to say conventional in the context that some people might think it's kind of conservative. The more that you are disciplined about the way you approach things, like pretty much, methodical, the more success you'll have. The more kind of traditional, right? I want to say to go back to, say, like if you look at people in the 1950s and, earlier in the 20th century, how people were polite and, just not that people aren't polite now, but I don't know.
Yeah.
In many ways, that's not like what you expect. Like, sadly,
Right.
we kind of expect people to be rude. What I see here is the conventional, traditional way of, "Hi, how are you?" The whole customer service thing.
Yeah.
"Nice to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by." Like, that goes a really long way
That's good.
towards your prosperity. And just my own personal opinion is I think that customer service is lacking in so many areas, that a business that has that, especially in a community like this, it's close knit, that's everyone kind of knows everyone, it's still that way. I grew up here. I know we all kind of know each other. Um, that's going to be your winning ticket. Now, this seemed to be all about your business, but maybe that's your primary focus.
It is very much all consuming right now. It's
Yeah.
in unfortunately, but fortunately, it's an opportunity. You have to kind of like focus on it, stabilize it, and keep it. And then other doors are open. But
Yeah.
that's spot on. I try to work at the front counter. And
Yeah,
some people
that's
would be
great.
like, is that the highest and best use of your time?
It
And it's
is.
like, yeah, because I get to serve the customer and shake their hand and say hello
It
and
is.
make sure that they get treated appropriately. I try to do that as much as I can. But it can be, you're there. You could work 100 hours a week just at the front counter. I mean, we're open 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then 9 to 3 on Saturday. You could do it all day, every day. When I try to do it as much as I can.
And now that I've met you, I'm thinking, what do I have to have dry cleaned at home?
Yeah, it's fun.
Right?
It's funny. It's really like that sometimes. Some people don't know that we do laundry service, for
Yeah, I think
instance.
that's a great addition.
And it's not that your employees won't tell people, but they're not thinking about stuff the same way as you are
Right.
in the eyes of the customer, in the eyes of growth, and so on. So like that's why I work the front counter. I talk to the customers. I ask customers a lot of questions like, what's working? Like what's not? Like what do
Yeah.
you get clean? Why
Maybe
do
it
you come
maybe a
here?
survey.
Are you going to a wedding? Is that why you're getting this cleaned?
Right.
Like
Right. Yeah,
what
conversation.
what's going on? Why did you bring us this wash and fold? And they're like, oh, we run this massage business.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It's a networking. What your cards indicate right off the bat, they indicated that the approach that you've taken to your business is the approach. You're right on track with that.
just gotta stick with it.
Yeah, just stick with the approach that you're taking, especially with the customer service and reaching out to the community. The Six of Pentacles that came up, it's almost like the card of the philanthropist. It's like people they'll want to support you. They'll tell your friends, go to it's Northeast Cleaners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll tell their friends.
Okay.
So, and if you want to ask a question, this is a pendulum, and I do something called dowsing. I met a woman who's Russian who lived in Magnolia, but she moved to Florida, and she taught me how to use a pendulum. I had heard about pendulums prior to learning from her, but she really had it down to really a science. So I use this for a variety of things, and I got this one at Salem Remembers, I think is the name of the store. Or there's two stores side by side in Salem by the same owner. His name is Tim, and the store where they sell the Harry Potter wands, whichever
Oh,
one that
okay.
is. And when I work with a pendulum, I can get yes or no answers. I can get percentages of likelihoods of things. And if you have a yes or no question, you can ask the pendulum. You don't even have to tell me what the question is unless you want to.
I'm trying to figure out what
Gee.
a question I would have would be.
Or what level or what percentage of something, something. It's funny, people get stumped when I say, "What's your question?" And by the way, on that note, when somebody gets a reading from me, I never say, "What are your questions?" Sometimes people show up and they're like, I don't know what my questions are. I don't have any questions. I don't want to know your questions for a reading because I'm just going to pull from what your guides have to say. But I'm just saying, if there's some question that you have in your mind that you'd like me to ask the pendulum for an answer, this gives yes or no answers.
Wow. You know, I I always think about when I'm here, I think about this chamber and I think about this podcast because we put in a lot of time here. We're probably on like 50, 60 episodes. Been doing it for a year and we've been trying to push the community to support this in a way that we can be like a Shark Tank for
Oh, cool.
the Cape Ann area. So if somebody had a new business or an existing business and they came on here, they would get an engagement level that would make a meaningful difference to their business. But then it would also allow us to almost monetize this in a way that allows us to sort of continue to reinvest further into the community. We want to go and do like go to the Cabot Theater and do an interview at the Cabot Theater. We want to go to the ribbon cuttings of these businesses
Oh,
and
great.
show more content in more ways.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was one question around this that Andrew and I have spun up and the chamber have spun up is, are we going to find a sponsor that
Okay.
finds this community in this platform in these entrepreneurs, these 50 or 60 so far entrepreneurs or executive directors or not-for-profits, are they going to find this valuable enough to themselves and to the community to actually monetize it in a way to let us to take that next step?
So the next step being having an investor.
Having a sponsor. We haven't driven a
Feels
sponsor. We need a sponsor for this that is meaningful, that finds value in this content in the community that this reaches.
okay.
So, can we get a sponsor?
Well, a potential sponsor just popped into my mind, and I won't share what it is. Um, I'm just going to ask the pendulum, is this sponsor that I have in my mind viable?
Okay.
I can tell you after. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Um, the one that I have in my mind. Now let's just ask. Now, by the way, when you said the Shark Tank, blah blah blah, I really get strongly that concept. I don't know if it's trademarked or if you can use Shark Tank.
Right.
You could maybe use it's like Shark Tank, or
Yeah.
I think you probably could. Wait, what is it? Is that would that be legal? No. Okay, so you can't really use Shark Tank.
It's the effect that they give when you would go on that show. Your business would get a ton of traffic.
Right.
And that's the effect that we want to have, not necessarily the use of the name. We want to continue to try to expand the reach and the value of what we're doing for the local entrepreneurs and not-for-profits in a way that they can get real growth and exposure, where we can build a bigger pie
Yep.
here through this platform to engage not only just our community, but we have a gigantic community that comes here every year. And how do we engage them before they come to see more, do more, and want to continue to come back here?
To do
And
like
this is
shows and
yeah,
that
and this
kind of
is a
thing.
platform
Right.
to engage them on. And so it's that next piece for us
Yep.
because we can record podcasts and we can do social media shorts and we can do those things, but there's only so much. Like, we're doing this donating our time, my time. Andrew's
Mhm.
donating his time, his employees' time, his studio's time. Uh, the the chamber is donating their time managing the guests.
Mhm.
But at some level, we're gonna have to sort of invest real monetary dollars into it, and
Yep.
that's where the sponsorship aspect comes into light. And I think that we need that in the next 50 episodes. We need the next 50 episodes to have this sponsor so people can see how it works and get that feel and take us to that next level. That makes
So do
sense.
you want to ask if that will happen by the end of the year? Is that a good
Yeah,
question? Okay.
that's a good question.
Also, the word shark is really jumping out at me. Like you got to use that word.
Okay.
Maybe not Shark Tank. That tested like no. Like that will be like a liability. I don't think they'll come after you, but
Right.
but you want to have your own thing. But the word shark, you got to use that word.
Okay.
You got yeah. I have a yes. You got to use that word. So will there be an investor, a viable, a good investor like what you're looking
Sponsor
for?
investor.
Sponsor, okay. By the end of this year. It doesn't look like it's going to be by the end of this year. But like I was saying earlier, if you don't like that, you can change it.
We got to work on it.
This is based on the present energy. So the thing about having something like maybe you would rather see it, obviously, would you rather see it say yes by the end of the year? But
We got to change
if you
something.
change some things, would you have somebody by the end of the year? Yes. So honing in on what those specific things might be. And this is great that we're doing this because it's business owners that watch this show, I would presume.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what I can do for businesses, and I've wanted to branch out on that a lot more. So we can ask, is there any kind of adjustment or approach that you'd like to take to get sponsors?
We've been looking at trying to drive some people in to do it actually like at no cost at first, so we could get feedback on it.
But how will you reach those? How would you let them know that you're seeking that, seeking the sponsorship?
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to do it through the chamber because
You
it'll.
have to ask for what you want.
I know. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we have to ask for.
It's like when I need money, when I want more business or I want more donations on my YouTube channel. Once in a while, I'm like, man, I'm working really hard for you guys during my live stream, and I'll be like, can you guys donate? And then they donate, right?
Yeah. Maybe we're
So
just not asking.
you have to ask.
That's really what it
We
is.
think people are mind readers. Well, I kind of am, but
We just need to ask.
okay. So if say you asked 5 potentially good sponsors, right?
Yeah.
Would you get what you want? You have to ask.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I think, Sagittarians, we're pretty good at
Asking.
talking to people and asking. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I think that will work out well for you guys. And I get this really strong sense that there's not enough bragging going on.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to promote ourselves, right? But there's not enough, hey, look at what we can do. And I don't mean that as a judgment. I just mean that you can really work on that to be much more effusive with what it is that you're doing here. Like, go tell people. And it's hard to brag. I mean, but we see a lot of people out there bragging that they really got nothing, just in general, right?
Right.
So if you have something, and I just mean like you have something that's going to benefit the community, right?
Right.
So that deserves a pretty big brag.
Yeah.
So it's not a time to be humble.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, brag
That's
about
true. We
yourself.
probably haven't been doing that enough.
No,
I agree with
I
that.
haven't heard streamography wherever I go.
Right.
I know Andrew
Right.
from the very very beginning, which is why I know streamography. But definitely get the word out more. Do you have any other questions you want to ask?
No, I don't. But I appreciate you coming on here and telling us. Do you have any other things coming up that we should make people aware of?
I want people, if they want to join my YouTube channel, that would be great. To join. Um, well, you can just subscribe. To subscribe to our YouTube channel is free.
Yeah.
And it helps with the algorithms, which I still don't understand. I've had this channel for 7 years. Um, I have a couple of events coming up. One is with an astrologer on October 21st that you can buy tickets to. It's a Zoom event. So I have that. It's like a psychic party. And I'm in Salem at Artemisia Botanicals. This will air in November, the show. So it'll be less busy then.
Yeah.
If this was like
which could be good. It's already going to be busy in
If it's going to
October.
air in October, which is this show isn't. It's we're recording it on October 1st. Then I would say don't come to Salem on Saturdays. But after Halloween, come to Salem on Saturdays.
Yeah, and this is something too. If you're this far along in this podcast, listening to this, you're obviously intrigued at some spiritual level
Yeah.
and like curious. This is something that you just reach out, call the number, the 978-239-3586, or shoot the email, or go to the shop and just go experience it. It's one of those things. It can be a personal thing. It can be something to do with your friends. You could get a whole bachelorette party together if you wanted to
Oh
do
yeah.
this.
Girls' night out.
So it doesn't like it's a choose your own adventure type experience.
Yeah.
But the first thing is probably, and that's why we did this today, to sort of break down some of the barriers of like just go try it. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
especially if you're curious, you're never gonna figure out anything if you're curious and with no action.
People are afraid of the unknown, which is why they say, I'm afraid to get a tarot card reading. It's just fear of the unknown. And then one of my favorite things is to turn somebody who's a skeptic into a convert.
Yeah.
I literally, one time I had a guy who came in for a reading. This is many years ago when I had my office on Main Street. And he was a doctor, and he and his wife and daughter, they all got readings individually. And he left the reading to go for a walk while his wife got a reading. And when he came back, he said, he said, you Googled me, didn't you? And only knew his first name. It was like Brian or something. I said, how am I going to Google Brian, right?
Yeah.
But he was a little stunned how I knew so much. But it is something that, I guess it's a little scary, right? But it's just scary because
Because of the unknown.
we're not like we don't grow up with, of course you know things, right? Which is why we get shut down at a young age. If little Johnny, whose grandma died, comes running into the kitchen because he's been in the living room and he sees his grandma in the rocking chair, right? And he runs to the kitchen, Mommy, just saw grandma. No, you didn't. She's in heaven, right? But he did. So the only reason that we're afraid of it is, as far as the witch thing, we're afraid of that because of Disney.
Right.
There's even a movie called Witches. I notice it's up on YouTube. There's different movies on YouTube, and the one it's called Witches, and I watched it out of curiosity, just the first half. And it was like the witches were like demons and disguised as these beautiful women, and they had horrible qualities, and they were really scary when they took their costumes off. And it's like, no, a witch is somebody who adheres to like honoring the earth and the different seasons and cycles and all that. So all the scary part, I do my best to normalize what I do. We're all born with the sixth sense. Animals have it. We're part of the animal kingdom. I know we don't really think of that much.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to be afraid of. So what I teach is like, this is normal. I'm a musician too. I wouldn't be able to play if I didn't practice. I'm good at this because I practice and I had an interest in it and I have a talent for it, which is the same with music, right? If a little girl comes to their piano lessons, for the first few times, their parent after a while is like, "Does Susie have talent?" I'm like, "Well, does she go to the piano to practice, or do you have to beg her?" "Oh no, she goes." Well, that's talent.
Yeah.
That's a sign. So the tarot stuff, the psychic stuff is nothing to be afraid of. It's just that it's been hyped to be, honestly, to be like from a misogynist kind of patriarchy standpoint. Women tend to be more intuitive. And that's been, demonized. Salem witch trials, say no more, right?
Say no
That's
more.
what that was all about. And it's
The Wicked
horrible,
Witch of the West.
horrible. Yeah, it's
All of them.
horrible what they've done. But it's not that. And so what I teach is that this is normal. I just practiced for 30 years and I'm, going on 31 now. And And the spirituality is also part of it. And so what I do in the spiritual side of things is I call it practical spirituality. It's to apply to your everyday life. And I don't want to leave without telling people that I do have my own self-invented church called Church of Spirituality. It's strictly online. I'd love to find a physical space to do it. And I'm in my 6th year of having a weekly.
Will you find a physical space?
Okay. A weekly sermon, music, everything, an inspiring message. Will I find a physical space? Yes, I will. And then if I wanted to go further, I could say time frame.
Yeah.
There's a lot of churches that barely have any attendance.
I know.
So, for
I
a
think you will
small
too.
amount, or maybe. I have a couple places in mind
There you go.
that I
See.
could go. So if you hear of anything.
I will. And that I appreciate what you bring to the community.
Thanks.
You're just relentlessly positive. And that's a quality that I feel like some people are missing. Some people are kind of ho-humming through life with this
Yeah.
negative energy.
Yeah.
And that's like totally not what I'm getting. I mean, you seem to have this positive like vibe of how people need to be kind of recentering themselves and like relaxing a little. We shouldn't be going through life so stressed, so negative, so
No.
all of these things. And yeah, I mean, the last call to action is like if anybody else sort of jibes with that, like reach out.
Yeah, we really are in a society that needs to bring us down in order to have power over us.
Yeah.
And we have agency over everything in our own lives, and that has a ripple effect on everybody else. So, like, spread joy, don't spread awfulness, right?
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And I find that when I go out and I just talk to people, people want to talk. People want to be invited in and engaged in conversation. We've kind of lost that in our society because of technology. AI is trying to get us really sucked into that.
Yeah.
And I think that people are going to start craving this, let's come back to community. I'm really working hard on that with music projects too, like to bring people together, to bring musicians together, to collaborate on songwriting and, bring like, if somebody wanted to have a party, I could be the psychic at the party. I'd get to know everybody and everyone would talk to everybody. When somebody has a psychic party, it's usually women. I'd like to do readings for more men, but I don't know, just that's the way it is. The the people at the party, one at a time, they go and mingle with their group while one is getting a reading, and they all talk about their own what came up in their readings, and they get to know each other better, and
Yeah.
that
Breaks
happens.
down the barriers, opens
Yeah,
the doors.
it's really good.
Well, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
We'll have you back. Everybody go check out the YouTube channel. What is it?
Psychic Annette Dion.
There you go.
On YouTube, you just put in the search bar at Psychic Annette Dion.
And then you can follow along forever there. Be
Yeah.
part of the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, thank you.